federal judge just handed Democrats 83 pages explaining exactly why Kristi Noem should be impeached. The judge used Noem's own words against her, calling immigrants killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. And while that's happening, Ken Paxton in Texas is investigating Austin ISD over student walkouts protesting ICE killings. This is Republican authoritarianism from the federal level to the state level. And today we're covering all of it. If you're new here, I'm Jordan Vale, and we're building a community of people who refuse to stand by while democracy is under attack. We need voices like yours in this fight. So hit that subscribe button. Let me start with the federal judge's ruling because it's devastating for Kristi Noem. According to NPR, a federal judge blocked the Trump administration from ending temporary protected status for Haitians on Monday night, issuing an 83-page ruling just hours before the Tuesday deadline. The decision protects about 350,000 Haitians from deportation, but here's what makes this ruling different. The judge didn't just block the policy. She called out Kristi Noem's racism by name. From CBS News, Judge Ana Reyes wrote that the Trump administration's decision to end protections for Haitians was substantially likely driven by racial animus. She found hostility to non-white immigrants in the decision-making process. Substantially likely driven by racial animus. That's a federal judge's official finding. And what was the smoking gun? Noem's own words. According to NPR, the ruling cited Noem's own words 3 days after announcing an end to Haitian protections, calling for a travel ban from Haiti and every damn country that has been flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. Killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. That's what the Secretary of Homeland Security called Haitian immigrants. And here's how Judge Reyes responded. From CBS News, the judge wrote, Kristi Noem has a First Amendment right to call immigrants killers, leeches, entitlement junkies, and any other inapt name she wants. Secretary Noem, however, is constrained by both our Constitution and the APA to apply faithfully the facts to the law in implementing the TPS program. Translation, you can be racist, but you can't let racism guide your legal decisions.
She posted, quote, I am recommending a full travel ban on every damn country that's been flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. We don't want them, not one.
Now, you remember where this Haitian deportation push came from, right? According to the Marshall Project, at least for now, the decision stops Trump from fulfilling a campaign promise he made in 2024 to end protected status for Haitians, after Vice President J.D. Vance spread false claims that Haitian immigrants were eating the pets of residents in Springfield, Ohio. They're eating the cats and dogs lie. That lie is why Trump wanted to deport 350,000 Haitians. And now, a federal judge has vindicated the Springfield community. From notice, the judge found that the Trump administration failed to provide a reasoned explanation for its decision to terminate TPS for Haiti. She found that Secretary Noem did not adequately consider the severe humanitarian crisis in Haiti, including gang violence, political instability, and inadequate access to food, water, and medical care. According to Religion News Service, the ruling cited country conditions that would make return dangerous, including ongoing gang violence that has displaced nearly 600,000 people internally. Haiti has no sitting president, prime minister, or parliament. Armed groups control most of the capital. The country is in complete chaos. Gangs control the capital. There's no functioning government. And Noem wanted to deport 350,000 people there because of a racist lie about eating pets. From Bloomberg Law, Judge Reyes noted that the administration's stated reasons for terminating TPS, such as claims about improved country conditions, were contradicted by its own State Department reports. The State Department's own assessments showed deteriorating conditions in Haiti, not improvement. So Noem claimed conditions improved. Her own State Department said conditions got worse. and the judge found her claims unsupported by the evidence. According to NBC News, the judge found that the government's justification for ending Haiti's TPS designation was arbitrary and capricious under the Administrative Procedure Act. The decision violated federal law requiring agencies to consider all relevant factors and explain their reasoning. And here's what the judge said about Noem's racial animus. From WLRN, Judge Reyes wrote that Secretary Noem's statements suggested discriminatory intent. The judge pointed to Noem's pattern of inflammatory rhetoric targeting Haitian immigrants specifically, including false claims about disease and crime. False claims about disease and crime. The judge documented Noem's pattern of lies. From the Associated Press, the ruling provides temporary relief to Haitian immigrants while the case continues. The preliminary injunction blocks deportations but does not end the legal fight. The Trump administration can appeal or try to justify the termination with better reasoning. But here's what makes this ruling so important for the Springfield community specifically. You probably remember the debate. Trump and Vance stood on national television and lied about Haitian immigrants eating pets. From NBC News, during the September presidential debate, Trump claimed, in Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. That lie became the justification for ending TPS. And now a federal judge has called it exactly what it was: a racist lie used to justify illegal policy. According to WLRN, many Haitians in Springfield work in manufacturing and food processing jobs that locals don't want. The city's economy has benefited from their presence, but Trump and Vance turned them into scapegoats with a fabricated story. And the judge saw right through it. From CBS News, Judge Reyes noted that the administration's timing was suspect. The decision to end TPS came shortly after Trump's inflammatory campaign rhetoric about Springfield, suggesting the policy was driven by political considerations and racial bias rather than a genuine assessment of country conditions. The timing proves it was political. The lies prove it was racist, and the judge documented all of it. But for now, 350,000 Haitians are protected, and there's an 83-page federal court ruling documenting Kristi Noem's racial animus. And if you think Republican authoritarianism is just a federal problem, let me tell you what's happening in my home state of Texas. Ken Paxton, the scandal-ridden, impeached Texas Attorney General, is now investigating Austin ISD over student walkouts protesting ICE killings. Here's what happened. According to Spectrum News, on January 30th, people across the U.S. participated in anti-immigration enforcement protests by marching, closing businesses, and walking out of work and school. Students from 14 AISD campuses left their classrooms as part of this national shutdown. Some remained on campus for the protests, while others walked to the Texas Capitol. From the Austin American-Statesman, students from 14 Austin ISD campuses were among thousands across the nation who staged walkouts last week in response to the killings of Alex Preddy, Renee Good, Silverio Villegas-Gonzalez, and Keith Porter Jr., civilians killed by federal immigration agents. High school students walked out to protest Americans being killed by ICE. And how did the school district respond? According to KVUE, AISD Superintendent Matias Segura said, "Our staff cannot physically prevent a student from choosing to leave campus. Support from families is essential in helping students navigate and understand their families' expectations. During the school day, our students are our responsibility, and we're committed to the safety of our students in our community, regardless if they are on our campus. That is why our administrators and Austin ISD police remain with our students during protest activities during school hours." Translation: we can't physically stop students from leaving, but we'll keep them safe. The walkouts counted as unexcused absences. Reasonable response, right? Not according to Ken Paxton. From Paxton's official statement, Attorney General Paxton has demanded that AISD hand over information regarding policies related to allowing students to leave campus, excused absence policies, security protocols of Austin ISD, and internal communications regarding the situation. Paxton is investigating the school district for not physically restraining students who wanted to protest.
Bailey Middle School in southwest West Austin had this walkout today. This followed multiple events last week, including Friday when Governor Greg Abbott called for an investigation. AG Ken Paxton saying today in part, quote, "These AISD officials are trying to impose their radical political agenda on the next generation by not only allowing them to skip class to protest lawful immigration enforcement activities, but worse yet, use tax dollars to do so," end quote. In a letter to parents, Austin ISD noted the events were not AISD events and school district police were there for the safety of students. The district added, while the students are exercising their First Amendment rights, none of the absences would be excused.
According to Spectrum News, Paxton claims that district officials knowingly allowed students to leave campus during the school day to participate in protests against lawful immigration enforcement activities. He also alleges that some AISD officials helped students walk off campus, trying to impose their radical political agenda on the next generation with tax dollars. Radical political agenda. That's what Paxton calls students protesting Americans being killed. From Paxton's office, parents expect our public schools to educate and keep their kids safe during the school day, not encourage them to attend a protest field trip designed to villainize brave law enforcement officials protecting our country. These AISD officials are trying to impose their radical political agenda on the next generation by not only allowing them to skip class to protest lawful immigration enforcement activities, but worse yet, use tax dollars to do so. My office will investigate and work to put an immediate end to any unlawful conduct by the AISD superintendent and his staff. Now, here's the thing. Multiple school districts across Texas had walkouts. According to KUT, students in other school districts across Texas also took to the streets on Friday, including San Antonio ISD and New Braunfels ISD, where the district also had staff monitoring students. The TEA told KUT News they received complaints regarding the walkouts in AISD and other school districts. But Abbott and Paxton have only publicly asked for information from AISD. San Antonio had walkouts. New Braunfels had walkouts. Pflugerville, Hayes County, Manor, Lockhart, Bastrop all had walkouts. But Paxton is only investigating Austin. Why? According to KUT, Paxton is in a tight Republican primary race for the U.S. Senate nomination and is hoping to get President Donald Trump's endorsement. From Wikipedia, incumbent four-term Republican Senator John Cornyn, who was re-elected in 2020, is running for re-election to a fifth term. Cornyn is facing a primary challenge from Representative Wesley Hunt and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Trump's endorsement is considered to be critical in deciding the winner of the primary. Paxton is desperate for Trump's endorsement. And from CNN, Paxton's trip to Scotland, which has not been previously reported, offers the latest window into the lengths to which the firebrand Texan has gone to court Trump's support in his insurgent primary bid against Cornyn. Paxton flew to Scotland to golf with Trump at his resort, begging for an endorsement. And now he's investigating high school students to prove his MAGA credentials. Now let me remind you who Ken Paxton is, because this matters. From Fox 4 News, Paxton was indicted on state securities fraud charges in 2015. He was accused of duping investors in a tech startup near Dallas before he was elected Attorney General. In 2024, Paxton reached a deal to have the felony counts against him dropped. According to NBC News, in 2023, the Texas House voted to impeach Paxton on 20 articles, including bribery, unfitness for office, and abuse of public trust. The Texas Senate acquitted him on all charges. And from the Texas Tribune, a jury awarded $6.6 million to 4 former employees who sued Paxton for wrongful termination after they reported him to the FBI for abuse of office. Paxton asked the Texas legislature for money to pay the judgment. They refused. So Ken Paxton was indicted for securities fraud. He was impeached by the Texas House. A jury awarded his whistleblowers $6.6 million. And now he's using government power to investigate Austin ISD over students protesting ICE killings. So we have a federal judge calling out Noem's racism, a state AG attacking students' First Amendment rights. And remember that Noem impeachment we talked about yesterday? 181 Democrats have co-sponsored articles of impeachment against Kristi Noem. That's 85% of the Democratic caucus. And now there's an 83-page federal court ruling finding that Noem's decisions were substantially likely driven by racial animus. This ruling is legal ammunition for the impeachment investigation. It's official court documentation that Noem's decision-making violates the law. According to Fox News, Democrats will hold shadow hearings to build their case against Noem. And Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries announced that Democrats are launching an impeachment effort this week. This won't succeed. Republicans control the House and Senate, but it puts every Republican on record defending Noem's racism and corruption. And now there's a federal court record of racial animus they'll have to defend. So let me connect these three stories, because they're all part of the same pattern. At the federal level, Kristi Noem is implementing racist deportation policies based on lies. A federal judge blocked her and documented her racial animus. At the state level, Ken Paxton is using government power to intimidate a school district over students who exercise their First Amendment rights. He's only investigating Austin because he's desperate for Trump's endorsement in his Senate race. And in Congress, 181 Democrats are impeaching Noem for corruption and racism, even though they know it won't succeed, because accountability matters. This is Republican authoritarianism at every level, but it's also accountability at every level. Judges are blocking illegal policies and calling out racism in official court rulings. Democrats are impeaching despite being in the minority, and students are standing up and protesting even when corrupt officials try to intimidate them. Let me know what you think in the comments. Does the judge's finding of racial animus surprise you? Should Ken Paxton resign? And does it matter that Democrats are impeaching Noem even though it won't succeed? Share this video. People need to know that a federal judge issued an 83-page ruling documenting Kristi Noem's racial animus. They need to understand that Ken Paxton is investigating Austin ISD over student protests. And they need to see that accountability is happening at every level, even when the odds are against us. We're building something here. A community that understands authoritarianism doesn't just happen at one level of government. It happens everywhere. And resistance has to happen everywhere too, because when judges call out racism, when Democrats impeach despite the odds, and when students walk out to protest injustice, that's how we fight back.
Thanks for spending a few minutes digging into this with me. If you want more grounded, progressive commentary without the outrage bait, subscribe and stick around. Every time you watch, share, and engage, it helps build a community that believes democracy is worth understanding and defending. I'll see you in the next video.